Good afternoon. I'm Alex Caputo-Pearl, taught in South LA for 22 years, Crenshaw High School, other schools, and the president-elect of UTLA. So we were proud to be here with the community around the Equity Index last week, and I was proud to stand with the community around the $13 million for restorative justice yesterday. And we're also here because UTLA has a campaign for the schools LA students deserve, where we need more focus on class size reduction, staffing for direct service for students, and pay restoration for our educators to recruit and retain educators. We're concerned that the budget includes outside of the school site and outside of the classroom positions that would better be served in direct service. We're concerned about some of the transparency of the budget process around the proportionality index and other things. We're concerned that key committees in the governor's office have not been consulted about long-term investments that may be made that we may be able to do in a different way. And we're concerned that over the weekend we learned that there's additional money coming to the district, and we know that there's money to engage these priorities that we're bringing to you. Let's get towards the schools LA students deserve by addressing class size, staffing, restorative justice, and pay. And I want to talk about pay for a minute. Dr. Rousseau and I worked with someone, and this story breaks my heart, that Kathy Garcia is one of the best teachers that I've ever known. I taught next door to her, and some of the Crenshaw students are clapping. I taught next door to her for many years. And Kathy has decided to leave teaching. It's partly because of the conditions, partly because of the reconstitution at Crenshaw High School, and significantly because she's got family obligations and so on, because of the lack of respect she feels and the lack of money in her pocket. And we've got to change that. Kathy Garcia, and I'll finish in a minute.
Thank you very
Kathy
much.
Garcia is one of the best teachers that we could ever have for our kids. We've got to keep teachers like her. When we're sitting in a place where
I have to ask you to conclude.
I'll finish in a second. When we're sitting in a place where salary got cut by 8%, and you're not even talking about it being a raise until you get over 8%, when we're talking about a 20% cost of living increase since we've gotten a raise, when you're talking about a 2% offer that barely makes up for what I put out of my pocket for my classroom each year, and when you're talking about districts across the state having given restoration and raises, it's time to make sure that the students get the schools they
We have
need
to ask you to
by
conclude,
giving
Mr. Pearl.
the teachers the respect that they deserve and the raises.
The next speaker is Arlene Inouye.
Thank you.
My name is Arlene Inouye. I'm the UTLA treasurer, and I'm also a health and human service provider as a speech therapist, mainly in the East LA area. And I'm coming here to specifically address the issue of fully funded schools. And as Alex stated before, you know, we have a campaign for the schools LA students deserve. And for the past years, LAUSD has been number 50 when it comes to the ratio of counselors to our students. We've had over 800 students to every counselor, and the American Counselors Society Association recommends 250 to 1. We're number 45 in nurses in the nation, with over 2,000 to 1 nurses to a student. And we have the highest ratio of librarians, 50th in the nation, with 5,000 to 1. Now, I'm hoping the funding that comes in will alleviate some of these numbers, but we're going to need a lot of resources to go directly to our students with these health and human services. And I just want to say, a child cannot learn when they are hungry, when they are hurting inside, when they are traumatized by violence. And we need to take care of our students in this primary way, this basic way, with the LCAP funding and with the priority giving to our most neediest students who have these mental health and physical needs. And I do thank you for support for the family literacy program and for the early ed, because as UTLA members who represent early ed to adult ed, we know that the early years are critical to language development. Thank you very much.